one of the things I talked about is that so much of what I hear from students about their reasons for having sex has very little to do with hormones. Most of it is they want to be accepted. And I talked about a speaker that I heard speak one time who said he felt like the biggest fear in life wasn't death, the biggest fear in life was rejection. And I think that's very true. And he said most people don't know who they are because they spend so much time being who they think they have to be in order to be accepted. And I think that plays out with kids as they make their choices, especially related to sex. It's like I didn't want them to reject me, and I had a fear of rejection. And so much of that fear of rejection comes from just our culture, where it's like everybody, they all want to fit in. They don't, it's this whole teenage thing. But there's a part of it that comes from home that I don't think parents really recognize. And I think there are three situations that sometimes cause kids to feel rejected and then have a fear of rejection and then act that out. And the first one is a lot of times where their fathers aren't there. And they feel like if my father didn't love me enough to stay, then maybe I'm not lovable. Maybe I'm not worthy. And so they sometimes get on this quest to go out and try to find their value through somebody else, or either they shut down in relationships because they have a fear that this person's going to leave me just like my father did. And sometimes it's the mother. I mean, I had a 24-year-old guy who said, when his parents divorced, he lived with the father, and not the mother. And so now at 24, he says he has a hard time trusting women because of him not being raised with his mother. The second situation I think causes this whole rejection to take root in kids is divorce situations. And I have tons of students who write me letters and talk about the fact that they felt rejected after their parents got divorced because they felt like it was their fault and they internalized it. And so then it was hard for them to attach to other people because they were afraid that they were going to leave just like, the parent did in the divorce. But the third situation, I think, is one that parents are probably the least likely to recognize how a child could process this as being rejected. And so let me read you a letter that I actually got the same day after I posted that video. I got this letter that night. And this young lady says, last week you talked to us about the different reasons why a girl has low self-esteem. Although I have two parents that are still together and they love me, I still have low self-esteem. When I was younger, my parents and I used to move from city to city and even countries to different countries frequently due to their jobs. I barely saw them and I practically raised myself. I believe that they loved their jobs more than me. Not seeing them at all for days or weeks at a time made me believe that I was destined to be alone and that I wasn't worth anything. Even though a few years later they started to spend more time with me, they felt like strangers to me and I just wanted to be left alone out of habit. I still have problems believing that I can do things without the fear of being rejected, like how my parents rejected me when I was during my childhood. They still try to come closer to me, but I mindlessly push them away. It is a habit that I hope I will grow out of, but the scars of being alone still affect the way I treat people that try to get close to me. Your speech truly made me try harder to believe in myself and to believe in what I can do. And you know what? I'm sure their parents probably gave this young lady a very good lifestyle financially. I'm probably sure, because it sounds like if they moved from country to country, they probably had really good jobs. But yet this girl is so damaged. And she's damaged because of feeling like she was rejected by her parents because they chose money over her. They chose their jobs over her. So I would challenge parents to just think about the choices that you make as a parent. How is your child processing that? Like, how is your child understanding? And it doesn't have to be you have a lot of jobs. And you have a job that takes you out of the country, and so you're not spending time with them. I mean, that's an issue. But it could be just that you're always on your cell phone. And so then they start to think, are they choosing their cell phone over me? It's whatever you're doing that robs them of your time. In their opinion, you are prioritizing something more than you are them, which means that must be more important to you. This whole rejection issue is a huge problem, and we've got to get a handle on it. We've got to get a handle on it. Until next time.